All right, LDBC, man. Who would ever think this boy Ed Reed, who would ever think that he would get so much backlash on being just 100% brutally honest? Who would ever think that? Damn. Well, I tell you what, Ed Reed, he came out and, did that viral video, and he exposed Bethune-Cookman University. He exposed them. Now, I'll say this, should Ed Reed have went out like that, just expose them like that? I wouldn't have done that at first, okay? I would have went to Bethune-Cookman with my list of concerns. And then if they would have completely ignored those concerns, then I would have took it to social media, because now you pretty much don't really care what I said, or you don't really, you don't care about what I'm telling you. And Ed Reed exposed the truth about HBCUs that's been going on for a long time, okay? He exposed the real truth. HBCUs, people always say, well, these schools don't take in a whole lot of money, they don't do this. Well, HBCU does take in money. They take in plenty of money. The thing of it is, a lot of the funds are often misappropriated. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been to Bethune-Cookman. I've been there. And I was there about 12 years ago, and that fence that Ed Reed could drive a car through or a vehicle through, well, guess what? That same fence was there, but the fence back in the day had a hole in it. But the hole, a small person or a small child could fit through the hole. So now you got to understand, that same fence, and I kid you guys not, that exact same fence has been there, and the hole started off as a small hole. So nobody at the university thought, hey, let's fix the hole. Let's fix the hole, okay? But I go and look at Bethune-Cookman, I look at, the administration. And I look at, they got a lot of people making six figures a year at Bethune-Cookman. A lot of administrative heads making six figures. Now, the school brings in roughly $95 million a year, okay? That's what it brings in. And I start thinking, damn, this school can bring in $95 million a year. And did you guys know that these guys are in the hole about $1 million every year? How does that happen? How does a school that can bring in that kind of money? I know schools have expenses that you pay out. But how can a school that can actually bring in that much still be in the hole? I mean, what Dion said and what Ed said, they're right. At HBCUs, the funds are often misappropriated. Okay? And I can attest, Bethune-Cookman looked like crap when I was there 12 years ago. And hell, to be honest, it looked better in the pictures that Ed Reed was showing. Because when I was there, that school, it was run down. The building, all these dilapidated buildings. I mean, the school just looked terrible. And it's like, how? I'm in a dorm room. We're doing like a little visit. I'm in a dorm room. You got, the damn paint chipped all off the walls. Or you go in a hallway, and yes, you can smell mold in the hallways. I mean, it looked like an old hotel room in some of these dorm rooms. Like, it looked terrible, man. Run down. Okay, even like the beds, when you go into the beds, I went into one dorm room, and you know how, like, you have the bed part? Well, that darn thing was rotten. The thing was rotted. Like, what the hell? And these kids are paying a lot of money. What it costs, $33,000 a year to go to Bethune-Cookman? That's a lot of money. And I'm sitting there thinking, what are they doing with this money? What are they doing with the $33,000 that these kids have to pay per year to go there? What are they doing with this money? I'm going to tell you, the HBCU mindset is you come in and you do a whole lot more with less. And Ed Reed was talking about he spent look, here go the crazy thing. Ed Reed spent $2,400 of his own money. Now, the thing is, he had already planned this recruitment weekend before they fired him. He had already, planned to have all these recruits, and many of these people already booked their airplane tickets and everything. And a lot of times, some of those tickets, you get those like deals, and they're non-refundable. And some of the families you're dealing with, they can't afford to, just cancel a ticket and go buy a whole new ticket. They can't afford to do that, and some of the tickets are non-refundable. This man, okay, did exactly what the school's supposed to do. He hosted these people on a weekend. As a matter of fact, before he got fired, he did the same thing. Hosted these people on a weekend. Hosted them and, actually put his own money up to show these people, what, Bethune-Cookman was all about. He did this. The school didn't do this. The school didn't care to do this. He did it. But black people, when you work in HBCUs, you're expected to go above and beyond, and even out of your own pocket if it calls for it. That's what you're expected to do. I work for an HBCU as an assistant track and field coach. I work, and I'm going to tell you, the job paid about $6,000 a year. Now, it's a part-time job. But they wanted you to go do all this stuff. Like, they wanted you to, go a week to go recruit. I'm like, dude, for $6,000, it's a part-time gig, man. I'm going to call some of these people over the phone. I'm not going out of town for a week, leaving my gym and, all my other, full-time income to go recruit for y'all for a week. No, I'm not doing that. Okay? And I didn't do it. And then, moreover, equipment. You don't have adequate equipment. So I found myself going into my own pocket and buying necessary equipment needed. You got some athletes that, the school couldn't afford shoes for everybody. Okay? Couldn't afford the shoes for everybody. So some athletes that are on the lower totem pole of the athletic hierarchy, they don't get the necessary equipment. So I found myself having to go out and buy shoes. This is crazy. It's crazy. And then when I looked up, I had probably spent maybe $1,500 on my $6,000 stipend that I got from that particular HBCU. So I'd already spent $1,500 of my own money. My money. And so when I took the receipts to the school, you know what they told me, man? You know what the school told me? Well, the school not obligated to pay these things back to you because you bought that under your own volition. And I'm like, wait a minute, man. These are athletes at your university that don't have the necessary equipment. Okay, you don't have equipment to have for these people. And I went out and bought the equipment, and I said I want to be reimbursed for my money. They said no. And so after about 2 months of fighting it, I got $500 of my money back. Okay? But this is what happens at HBCUs all the time. They're not lying, man. Well, when you go out, man, when I go out, and when the kids that you train, they start winning and doing well, they don't want to be there to get the equipment. It's crazy. I had 3 kids win a national championship at a HBCU. And I'll be damned, the administration, all of them. When the news people coming down, the administration want to be in the picture and be in the interview. I told them no. I said, y'all had nothing to do with this process. Nothing. And I told the truth, and I got in trouble. Then I resigned. I told the truth, and I told it in front of the newspaper. Okay, they were there to interview us and take pictures, and I take some video. And when the admin came down, I said, you guys had nothing to do with this process, nothing. I said, I couldn't even get you guys to buy equipment for these people that y'all deemed as, inferior athletes. The same people they didn't want to buy equipment for were the same people that won a national championship. And I said, y'all didn't want to do that. I said, you guys did not support me in any facet of this. None of y'all. And I told the reporter, don't mention their names in this and don't take their picture. So, they felt some kind of way about it. How the hell am I going to go above and beyond? And all these dudes making 6 figures. And at the black university I was at, you had the AD, $200,000 a year. Okay, you had the university president who denied my reimbursement. Okay, $500,000 a year. And then I think you had the associate president, $250,000 a year. So you had all these huge money-making people right here. I'm expected to take money from my $6,000 a year part-time job stipend. And these dudes making 6 figures yearly. And they can't even do a thing to help support these kids. Nothing. I told them, get the hell out of my picture. I said, none of you. I said, y'all ain't do S. I said, I did this. I did it. I was out at night. I was bleeding. I was sweating. I was grinding with these people, and y'all sat around on your asses. Is what you did. This is what happens at HBCU. And I'm going to tell you, when Ed Reed started, doing that video, it resonated with me 100%. They don't want to keep the facilities up. And then when you do get a donation to keep those facilities, when you get a donation, they take part of that money. They don't appropriate the funds properly. At the university where I worked at, they put this track together. Okay, they finally got some alumni, and they got, God to, give a large sum of money to rebuild the track, to make like this like phenomenal track and field. So we get the track, and the guy said, "Listen, we're gonna donate this money, but the track need to be open to the public." Well, of course, the HBCU, they get this God complex, and guess what they do? They lock up the track to the public. Hell, even athletes, we trying to get on the track, the damn track locked up. Oh, you can only come in on this time. I said, my man, this is a public track. I said, I coach here. Yeah, but y'all can't be here this time. I said, well, the kids don't get out of class to this time, and I said, man, we gotta get on the track. Do you know, man, the school security, do you know they called the police? They called the police and tried to have me escorted. Me, I'm a coach. They tried to have me escorted out of there. Although I worked there, they tried to have me escorted out of there. And when I told the police, I showed them my identification of the school ID, I said, I work here. So he looked at the guy and said, what's the problem? Well, they're not supposed to be here at certain times, and those are university policies. And the officer said, well, y'all gonna have to take that up with the AD or whoever in charge. But, as far as I'm concerned, he's allowed to be here. And the officer left. So, the security guard was feeling some kind of way. But y'all, this is what they do at HBCUs. So then that next day, I'm going to tell you what happened the next day. The next day, I get called into the AD office. And he said, hey, man, security told us, man, that, you were down there. And, we want that place cleared out at a certain time. I said, but yeah, the kids' class schedule, some of them, they have a late class, so we have to meet a little later so we can get this done. Oh, yeah, I realized that, but see, we got time set. And I said, man, I work here. I said, we're trying to make the university, shine light. Okay, this HBCU, this university, hadn't had anybody, and I said, I got three people on the verge of actually winning a national championship in 3 different events. Yeah, I realized that, man, but we got rules we got to follow. So they didn't want to support me financially. They didn't want to support me, have my back on keeping a track where I work at, by the way. They didn't want to do any of that. They didn't want to do none of that. So guess what we had to do? We had to leave. Okay, we had to leave the track. We couldn't go to the track. We had to go to a nearby high school. A nearby high school in the hood, okay? Because all the other high schools in the area were locked up. But this one high school in the hood was open. And it was dangerous. Like Ed Reed was talking about, a lot of HBCUs too, they're centered in bad neighborhoods. This one was in a bad neighborhood. But the school, was bad. I'm talking about you got dudes, running through the field, with police chasing them. You got, helicopter searchlights, coming down and shining lights on us when we're out there practicing. I meant like a couple times a week, the police would come out there because they didn't understand what we were doing. And then when they figured out what we were doing, they would just leave. But you got to understand that being able to train and win under those circumstances, and, I still had 3 athletes win the national championship, and then they wanted to, put their asses in the damn video and the camera. I said, hell no. I said, you out your damn mind. And I said, you the same dude that wouldn't even let me use a track for your own athletes. Man, I told it all. I said, and then we had to go to the school, the worst school in the city where I'm at. We had to go to that school and train. Seeing shootouts. Literally, 200 feet from where we were training at, it was a shootout. But the school wouldn't let us use the track. Man, I went to them 3 times and said, listen, man, I got to take these kids over to the high school track. And I said, brother, talk to the AD. Can we just get on the track? It's dangerous, man. No, they wanted to abide by their stupid ass policy. And luckily, none of us got hurt. And literally, I'm out here coaching, and then I got my pistol. I'm literally coaching, and I got my pistol. And 2 of the athletes were women. 1 guy. I'm out here coaching, and I'm my pistol right at my hip, in case somebody come up over there and try some stuff. And this AD had the audacity, had the gall to want to get in our photograph. The president had the audacity, who denied my reimbursement. You want to get into the photograph? No, man, I exposed him heavily. And of course, I didn't get renewed, and that's fine. But everybody knew the truth. But then it took me to actually, being let go from that place for them to actually open the track to the public like it was intended to. Or to have athletes, being able to train on the track when they're supposed to at different times because of classes. I mean, just simple common sense stuff, man. Common sense stuff. Like you'll see like these new like places being built on campus, man, for the president's house. They have like gourmet meals there. Then you go to the student cafeteria, where the kids got to eat, man. They got this, I don't know, man. They got some of the worst like quality food, that FDY food. I don't know if y'all ever heard of them. It's disgusting. They got to eat that stuff, man. Some of the meat that they eating is dry. It's just, man, this happens a lot at HBCUs. It happens a whole lot. But people don't make light of it. And some of the kids think it's just normal. Well, it's just cafeteria food. No, you can get fresh food. Y'all pay enough money. You pay enough money to go to these schools. Why you can't get fresh food? Why can't they do that? They can, but the money, they paying all these people at the top. And I looked at a school even like Bethune-Cookman, and you got what? You got the president making what, over $300,000 a year? Then you got the AD Reggie Theus making what, $190,000? You got a couple of associate professors making $130,000. You got I think the associate president, they making like $200,000. Like these people at the top, they're making money. They're making a lot of money. The school is bringing in money, y'all. Is what are they doing with these funds, y'all? What are they doing with the funds? And see, Ed Reed already had people. He even had Shaquille O'Neal, ready to come in there and really invest into the school. They were going to do that. See, HBCUs, what they do is that it's like that saying. It's like that old saying, the crabs in the bucket. At HBCUs, it's incredibly prevalent. It's prevalent. They will, if you do something bigger than them, they feel some kind of way about that. Or if you do something that's bigger than them, they want to take the credit. They want to take the credit. Like they want to be in there because they want to know and tell everybody that they had something to do with the success. And then they'll take your idea and run with it like they came up with it. They used to piss me off to no avail with these HBCUs. Used to piss me off to no avail. And they never want to give you your props. They don't ever want to do that. Never. Guys, that's the HBCU mindset. That's how they think. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Like you think about it. You have to come out of your. I even had to come out of my pocket. Look, we was at a track meet, a weekend track meet, 3-day track meet. Okay, the kids, gave them $35. Not $35 a day, y'all. They gave them $35 for the weekend. For the weekend. Now you think you got some 18, 19, 20-year-old boys, girls. $35. So, if they ain't got no money, they got to ration it off. They got $35 for the weekend, y'all, to eat. And they're representing the university. When we went to nationals, we had to fight to get them to actually pay. To pay for the flights over there. We had to fight. Guys, it was a fight. You got 3 people representing you. We had to fight. And then, they didn't want to pay. So then what happened was, and I'm going to tell you, boy, this story, it hits home because I get so pissed off. When we raised the money on our own, we raised the money. We went into the community. We got the community to support these 3 athletes. Do you know what happened? Now the university came through and they really felt bad. And it was on the news. It was on the news. See, whenever you want an HBCU to change their ass, change their behavior, you put them on the news. It was on the news, and they did a story on how these 3 athletes, raised their own money. We hit the pavement. We went in the neighborhood. We did fundraising. We did all kind of stuff. We did GoFundMes. We did everything to get the money necessary so they can fly. So when the school got wind of it, when they got on the news, the school was like, oh, well, we're gonna pay for them to fly and get to the nationals. We're gonna pay that money. Okay, and then they can use that money, while they're there. The money we raised. See, the school thought they were slick, man, but they wasn't gonna do it. They didn't deem it important. And these 3 athletes, they went and they helped put the school on the map. So I know what Dion and Ed Reed went through. I know what they went through. Working at an HBCU is hard, man. It's hard. It's difficult. It's hard work. Like, you got to do more. And I'm going to tell you what used to piss me off the most, though. There was another white coach. And at HBCUs, white coaches a lot of times are rare. Now, magically, he seemed to get the stuff that he needed for his athletes. He seemed to get that stuff. And all he had to do was complain. And he would get that stuff. Oh, he would get it. This guy wouldn't have to come out of his pockets. He said, no, I just submitted a request form, for finances, and, we got the rest of my kids, equipment. But when I go do the same thing, they tell me they ain't got enough money. Make that make sense. I was at that particular HBCU for 5 years. And 3 of the 5 years, I produced a national champion. And every year, I submit one of those request forms for finances. Can't get it. They deny me. But the white guy go in there, and he do the exact same thing. He get it. HBCUs are shady like that. They real shady, man. They real shady. And they will do for themselves before they do for anybody. They'll do for themselves. Okay, the higher ups, they'll do for themselves. But when I went in there one day and I saw, because we had I think it was a coaches meeting, and we went in there and I saw the president's quarters. They got their own chefs in there. They got, the students are eating this trash. They eating this trash. These guys eating good. I'm talking about they got like gourmet steaks. They got chicken falling off the bone. They got steamed rice and the whole 9 yards. They got vegan options. They got pizzas over here. Every day, this is how these dudes eat. But you go to the student cafeteria, man, they got dried chicken. They got, pork chops look like they've been overcooked to hell. They got these greens that's just been sitting in the pot for damn near the whole day. And it's like they cooked to hell. They cooked to hell. They nasty looking. I'm like, man, what? HBCU's got it backwards. And then people wonder why Dion went to a PWI. People wonder why Dion went to a PWI. They wonder why this guy went to a PWI. He went to a PWI because, first of all, they paid him more money. Number 2, he didn't have to come out of his pocket, which that's what Dion did, gave half his salary back to the school. Didn't have to come out of his pocket. Okay? Simple things like, it's clean. It's clean. Place of work is clean. And they're going to treat them right. They're going to feed the athletes. They're going to do the things that they're supposed to do. Because that's what's expected of you. That's what's required of you. They're going to do the things that's needed. They do the things that's required. That's a PWI. That's what they do. PWIs tend to do the things that's required. They tend to do them. And they tend to do it at a high level. Now, there are some HBCUs that are doing the right things. And I'll tell you, North Carolina A&T, they got this huge grant, and they're doing things at a really, really high level. You got Maryland Eastern Shore, they're doing things. You got FAMU, okay? They got FAMU that's doing stuff at a high level. They got, Howard. They got Howard that's doing stuff at a high level. So you have some HBCUs that they got it. They got the picture. They understand. They understand what it is they need to do in order to be successful. They got it. What's up? They understand what it is they need to do. But the thing of it is, though, you have a lot of them, Ari right, they got a broken mentality. Their mentality is broken. They want you to do more for less. And that mentality is broken. I don't care what anybody tell you. That mentality is extremely broken. Do more for less? Who thinks about that? Don't nobody want to do more for less. Does anybody want to do more for less? What's up? Here you go. You dragging in here. I see you. I'm walking fast to get up in here. But I know But it's a broken, you know, it's the mentality is broken. The mentality is broken. It's broken. And it's right. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't say anything that was out of whack. He said everything that's true. And when Ed Reed made that video, man, I was right there, and I understood everything that man said. Hope the brother go to another HBCU. But there, and you know, do you know how much attention Bethune-Cookman got? If they were smart, they would have hired him anyway. They would have hired him anyway, because you would have had people, and damn, you would have had people out the wazoo. You would have had people out the wazoo. But hey, it is what it is.